Hi, I'm Terry. I've lost 175 pounds with Keto and Carnivore. Thank you for watching. Good morning. It is 7:30 on Saturday, and I've got a bunch of things going on, and this is just part of what's going on. The dogs are almost out of broth, so I knew I needed to go on and get them some broth. So I've got some 73% ground beef, and you can see I filled this puppy up with a whole lot of water. So, yeah, there's a lot of water in there, but they need broth, and it doesn't affect me whether it's a little water or a lot of water. I put it in straight frozen, so this is probably going to take about 5 or 6, 7, 10 hours. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, so I've got some 73% ground beef, and over here I've got some chicken. This is I put in all 3 things of chicken. Only one was defrosted, so I don't know how long it'll take to cook. Again, lots of water for broth, because if I do a butternut squash soup, I'm going to want some chicken broth. So I'll have broth for me and broth for the dogs, whatever's left over. So that's kind of the crock pot game this morning. And then I've got a whole bunch of vegetables I want to chop up. I've got some, of course, I've got jicama as usual, and then rutabaga in the fridge, and got some red onion, and so I've got some things that I want to chop up, and so I'm going to be working on that. But in order to save upload time, I'll just show you things after they're cut up. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on today at this point, and it's too early for me to do anything else. To actually start the vegetable chopping, it's too early. So I'm going to make me some breakfast, which will just be my usual. Okay, bye. Actually, I lied. I'm going to have this yogurt. It's what I got this weekend, or last Thursday whenever I went. It has 80 calories and, 80 calories, 12 protein, and 3 carbs, and 0 added sugar. So I'm going to have this morning and just see how I feel, see how long it lasts. So, okay, that's what I'm doing for breakfast. Bye. Hey, I saw something on TikTok, and I'm testing it out. I have some of these peeler things, different ones, and I saw where you can take an onion and do this. So I'm going to try to angle it. Let's see that. And it's working. Now, my eyes are still running, but if you ever want little shaved pieces of onion, I'm going to try. Ooh, hang on. Got some out here. All right. So I'm just shaving across the top, and then it just makes these little shavings. I wish I could do it left-handed. I could try. Hang on. I got this glove to help hold it in my hand. I tried a regular peeler, and it didn't work as well as this. But I'm just shaving across. Now, in the TikTok video, they were going back and forth. I couldn't get that to work. They were going, but I couldn't get that to work. So I'm just going back and forth. And then what I'm doing is whenever it gets too small for me to handle, like this one, I'm going to cut it in half and make it cubed, or, like chunks. I had problems with this section right here. Not really sure what that is, so let me just cut that off here. But it doesn't matter, how thick or thin. Let me say this. I like red onion. I love red onion. But I like red onion on salads and with things, and in ways that it's really thin. And so I'm not good at cutting things really super thin. So this was a way that I'm able to do it for as long as I can. And then I can switch over to this. But again, it does not benefit the eyes any. My eyes are still burning, so it's not like this has saved my eyes, but it's just a lot easier. And so, like I said, then you get into these pieces. So those I'll just push through my food chopper. So anyway, that's what I'm doing with these onions, and thought I'd share that with you. I learned it on the TikTok. You might be saying to yourself, Terry, what in the world are you going to do with all them onions? They're going to go bad. Oh, contraire, mon frere. Mon cher, whatever the word is, you know what I'm trying to say. Au contraire, I am spreading them out on this thing. And this is what my mama did when I was a kid. She would cut up something like peppers. And then she would lay them out on a cookie sheet, although this is a big cookie sheet. But we got a big batch here, so we needed something big. We'd spread it out on a cookie sheet, and she'd put it in the freezer. So I'm going to put this in my freezer for a few hours and let it all freeze up. And then I'll put it in little Ziploc bags that I can pull out when I want them. So this way, I'm only having to cry one time when I cut onions, and I'll have enough for probably a couple months, maybe longer. Anyway, so, okay, that's what we're doing. I'm putting this in the freezer now. You might also be saying, Terry, how you gonna fit that big old hunk of thing in your freezer? Ha! It's going into my chest freezer. We've been whittling down on the meat, so I can set it right in here. And there it will be, all by its lonesome, just chilling out and freezing. Okay, back to the next thing, whatever that may be. Hey, I'm doing my jicama, or my rutabaga, and I'm using this, and I did not microwave it. And so I'm kind of experimenting, because I had these things tucked away in a drawer. But seems to be working pretty good, and I did not have to microwave it. But I'm listening to my K-Love as usual. And I can't remember the name of the song that's playing. I think it's Worthy is the Lord. But anyway, I'm telling you what. I am so ready and excited that someday in the near future, the big guy is coming back. I tell you what, to look up in the sky, and I know many of you are believers and some are not, and no disrespect to the ones that don't believe, but for those of you who do believe, can you imagine how it's going to be when all of a sudden the trumpets blare and you look up and you see Jesus coming from the sky from a cloud? Holy smokes. Now that day, I'm just sitting here thinking about it and just knowing we're going to look up and there he's going to be. He's going to be right up there and we're going to be like, hey, big guy, there you are. We've been ready for you. So anyway, that song just got me thinking about how exciting it's going to be and how life is going to be after he comes and we're up in heaven and we're singing all the time. And we're dancing all the time. I'll have rhythm up in heaven, by George. I won't have to, dance behind a closed door because, people will be laughing. I'll be able to just dance in front of everybody and not even worry about it. That's the things I think about. I think about, oh man, heaven's going to be pretty stinking awesome. We're going to get to see Noah and Moses and be like, hey, Moses, how you doing? Have parted any seas lately? Ha ha. Or, hey, Noah, let's talk about that ark experience. I want to know how it was in the ark. Of course, we may not remember things like that when we're up there. I don't know how it's going to be, but it's pretty cool to think about. Just to think that we'll be sitting up there with King David and be like, hey, David, what's kicking, chicken? And him be like, oh, nothing, just playing my harp. So anyway, all right, that's the random stuff I think about when I'm peeling my rutabaga. All right, bye. So I cut up jicama and I sliced it real thin. I'll show you what I did. On the bottom 3 trays, I sprayed it with a little bit of duck fat and put jicama on top. And then the upper 2, and it kind of, these were on the bottom, so they've got a little, I sprayed tahini. Wait a minute. Let me start over. Hi. This is what I've got going on right now. I sliced up jicama and I sprayed it with duck fat and sprinkled some tahini on these. They were stacked when I did it, so some of the tahini fell down to the ones below. And these were the ones that were on the bottom, so that's why they have tahini on it. These 2 trays I sprayed with duck fat and I put just salt on them. I just want to kind of experiment with it a little bit. And that's what I've got. And then I still have some more sliced jicama for other things. So this is set on like 128-ish. And now it's going to run until tomorrow evening. I also cut up some jicama, or some rutabaga. I have some in here in the crock pot. I plan on mashing this up, probably. I say probably. I don't really know. I just do stuff and then decide later. So I've got some rutabaga in here. And then I sliced it on the mandolin. And then I also have some rutabaga over here. I have some rutabaga in here sliced. And I'm going to bring it to a boil. Again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Some of it I don't know. Anyway, but I'm looking at ways to do it for my breakfast. So I've got it all cooking. And I still have a little bit of jicama left. I have this sliced jicama left. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is lay it out on a tray. Not to freeze, but just to kind of let some of the liquid come out of it. I know you can keep this for a couple weeks, at least a week. And so I'll be adding this to salads and stuff. But I want to let some of the liquid, the water, come out of it first. Several of you have told me to put jicama or tahini on jicama and try it that way. And I've been saying I'm going to do it. Well, I keep forgetting, so we're going to do it right now. Just some tahini. That's tahini. Tahini is a classic seasoning. It's kind of got a citrusy something or another. Anyway. It's good. It's got citrus. I might put too much, but it's good flavor. Sorry, I had an alert on my phone. It's good flavor, but it makes your face pucker because of the citrus. Tastes good. That's a good combination. I'm glad I tried it on chips. So I've been playing around with sliced rutabaga, and I've got some going in the air fryer, and I don't like it how it's turning out. So what I'm going to do is spread it out. I mean, it's already cooked and so it's soft, but I want to kind of spread it out and roast it in the oven, kind of like I did whenever I did the well, the Hasselback was one, but then the, oh my gosh, au gratin. Kind of like when I did the au gratin. So I'm going to just kind of layer this in here a little bit, kind of spread it out. Not going to put a lot of seasoning on it because that's not what I'm trying to do. I want to try to season it when I'm ready to eat it. So trying to think if this could, way to do this for my breakfasts. So I'm going to pop this in the oven for a little while and just see what happens. So something else I'm doing, I've got some sliced jicama. Working on my breakfast. I've done I think 3 times already. I also cubed some and did them in the oven. It's rutabaga. I think I said jicama. Whatever word I said, I meant rutabaga. So I'm air frying them just to kind of mess around with them, trying it different ways. So yeah, I've kind of jacking around with that, making my 100-gram servings to go along with my breakfast, to go along with my egg muffins. The onions they've been in the oven or in the freezer for about 3 hours. When I bulk freeze something, I just write my message. Oh, you can't see it now. On the big Ziploc bag. I double Ziploc bag things, and so I put like 1 serving in a little bag, so that way I can pull a small bag out and then use it in various ways, and then I don't have to pull all of them out. So these are not all totally frozen, but they're quite a bit frozen, enough that they're not going to freeze together and be one huge clump. So anyway, so yeah, that's just something I like to do. whenever I'm bulk freezing something that is very watery. And I'm wearing the gloves so that way later on, if I'm petting my dogs, they're not licking my hands. Because I don't care how much you wash your hands, they will taste and smell like onions a long time. It's 3 hours later and my hands still have a hint of onion smell. So anyway, so I will be able to grab one of these bags out and I could put some in my mix that's in the, like my pickled mix. I could put some of these in there. I could put some of these on top of a salad. I could do however I want to do it. And yeah, so that is my onion meal prep. And let me see, hang on. Don't want to leave them out too long. I just like red onions. They just kind of have this bitterness to it that I like, especially like on a salad. This gives a good bitterness that goes along with the crunchiness of the cabbage and then the sweetness of the dressing. I don't know, it all goes together really well. And then I like it pickled too. So, and you could do this with white onions or whatever onions. So there we go. Now it's going to be double frozen, and I toss this in the freezer, and I don't have to write red onions on every single little baggie. So, all right, that's the onion part. Right there. Chicken is done. I'm doing something different because this chicken is what I'm going to be using as rice for future recipes. So I don't want to just plop it into a container. I'm going to, because I want to put it out in servings and in Ziploc baggies. So I am going to, I've spread it out and I'm going to pop this into the freezer and leave it for a couple hours, and then I'll pull it out and break it up into Ziploc bags. So to go along with my soup, I have 4, because I already ate one of the soups. I have 4 servings of 5 ounces of 73% ground beef. So whenever I pull these out, I will have one of those butternut squash soups with it. And it will average out to be about the right amount of calories for how I usually have my lunches or suppers. Now I'm going to finish doing the ground beef. And then I'm going to put the rest of the ground beef in 8-ounce servings, like I usually do. I went ahead and put them away, but I got 5 servings of 8 ounces of ground beef. And then this is like 3 ounces of ground beef left over. I ate that butternut squash soup. So I'm going to finish this off, and that will be the rest of my lunch. I may have forgotten that I had my rutabaga in the oven for maybe an hour. No, maybe 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, but it'll work. I'm gonna portion these up when it cools down into the 100 gram servings to eat with my eggs in the morning. It'll be all right. Let's see. Let me taste this. Yeah, it'll be fine. It's fine. So I've finished up with the sliced jicama. I have some that I did in the air fryer, some that I did in the, I got a nose down here. Some that I did in the oven. And anyway, so it's all different kinds of ways, but they're all going to be in 100 gram servings. So these will all be my breakfast. So I labeled the bag Vega 100 grams. So I'll be tossing this into the freezer. And then as I pull out my egg muffin, I'll pull out one of these. And this will be enough for at least 1 week, maybe 2. I honestly don't know how many I have. But I'm going to toss this in the freezer. And so I'll have that along with my egg muffin. And this was a lot. It was a lot, but it was a lot easier than slicing up the... I say it's easier. I don't know if it was easy or not. The slicing of the Vega for the Hasselback was the hardest part. Making sure I didn't cut through the little dowels that I did that night. But anyway, either way, it's all good. I got this done. And then I will show you what's left. We got our final thing, which is a chicken. So hang on. Okay, this is the chicken that I'm going to be using for rice. So I'll just call this ground chicken for rice. I'm not sure exactly how many grams or ounces or whatever I'm going to put in it. So I want to just kind of start with some so I can get a visual idea of something. So I'm going to zero it out and change it to ounces. And then, because I think it would make a good rice. 6.9. Nah, let's do 6 ounces. Just so I can get more out of them. Get more of them. But I want them all to be as close to the same as possible. Alright, so 6 ounces. So I'm going to fill up these baggies with 6 ounces of ground chicken. Okay, so I got 5 of them at 6 ounces. So I'll put 6 ounces on here. And then this one was 3 ounces. So I'll just put 3 ounces on here. Then that way, when I go to grab it, I'll know that it's the oddball. So I'm going to toss all these in here. And whenever I decide to make something, feels like a little extra air in this. Whenever I go to make something and I want to have a rice, I'm going to use the chicken. Like I said, I know there are all kinds of great things out there that we can use for rice. I know it. That's wonderful. But, yeah, I don't like cauliflower rice. And I don't want to have to go through what I did with the jicama rice. So I'm just going to use chicken. And, I mean, it'll be great. Rice doesn't have a flavor anyway. So this will be perfect. So there we go. It's right in there. And be a great way to get some extra protein instead of carbohydrates. I'll pop it in the freezer. Here's the aftermath of today's meal prepping and cooking. A sink full of dishes, 2 other crock pots. That one is still going, so I might have to make a second video. I still don't know what I'm going to do with that. Ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. I'm in here crocheting, and I have one thing to do, and I will make a second video for that. And yeah, have a good weekend.